Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back as I wrap up this dedication this week to Malcolm X on his 100-year birthday, his centennial. Happy heavenly birthday, I put it. And today is the fourth installment by which I am sharing my views. As I've shared in the other three, you can find out more about him on your own, including in this wonderful book that I've been recommending all week called Malcolm X, the Autobiography, written by Alex Haley, and you can still get it. It's still in print. If you haven't seen my other three uploads, I will drop them in the description box for your view. And today, I'm going to wrap this up by talking about the last phases of his life, the assassination of this man and his legacy, which was not assassinated. The legacy still lives on. But as we know, and I don't assume who knows what, but there is a distinct difference between an assassination and a murder. An assassination is a murder of a highly public figure or prominent figure by which to stop that which they represent for the most part. In other words, the work they don't want to go forth. There's often behind an assassinator's attempt the desire to stop the person because the person might make a progress this assassinator doesn't want to occur. The person is a threat to progress most of the time, I would say. But at any rate, assassination includes or is the main difference between murder and assassination is of a public figure of legacy, a prominent public figure of legacy. Martin Luther King was assassinated. John F. Kennedy was assassinated. His brother Robert Kennedy was assassinated. All of these within a 10-year window time in the 60s. So these men represented a change in this country by which some mindset just couldn't change, just couldn't handle, just didn't want, just had to stop. But the legacy work of these individuals continued on, despite their life did not. Now, when Malcolm X was assassinated, he left behind a wife, Betty Shabazz, and they had children, six daughters who were all young children at the time. So they didn't get to grow up with their father. She's left alone to raise and rear these six daughters on her own. Now, I am going to just leap forward for a moment off of his direct assassination and talk about two things, the murder of Black men in this country and the prison inmating of Black men in this country. They too are taken away from their wives. They too are taken away from their children. This is the decompositioning of the Black man. Now, I know that's strong. And unless you don't have Black understanding, this is why I want to share it as a perspective. Because many Black people either don't, won't express it directly, I'd say, by which white people too should hear it. Because white people want progress as well, I do wholeheartedly believe. They too have been bamboozled, as a word that Malcolm X had used. They too have been fooled and misled. They too have been given the from the media. It was never true. And they too are realizing this. The biggest difference is theirs came from their own tribe. from their own people. So imagine having a hatred that was deposited in you that wouldn't have been there unless it was deposited in you. These are things that come across by which the orchestration of a colonizer mindset will devise at any means necessary, as Malcolm would often say. I chose this portrait picture as a backdrop in my final installment here because it is the most famous, well-viewed picture of him as a thinker and a thought leader then and now. And some of his most fervent quotes ring true today, such as by any means necessary, push the needle forward. That has nothing to do with violence, as the media back then would have you to believe. They worked hard to harness an image that never belonged to this man and to make the fervent fire of his truth seem threatening instead of progressive talk being spoken. What we have now, by way of so many Black men in prison, so many Black men murdered, so many George Floyd type situations, by which these men too are taken from their wives, these men too are taken from their children, these two men too are facing a destroyed family by an assassin, or in their case, they're not a public figure, but a murder's attempt. How threatening Black must be. The uncertainty that faces so many people, by which I would say they have a preset mindset that was given to them a vault, a truth that turns out not to be so truthful, is what keeps them encaged, enraged unnecessarily. Let me share what I mean by that. The resistance by which a stop, a stall, a halt, a neutralize, any sense of progress continues because of that mindset. The mindset is enraged and blocked. It hasn't opened up yet. But the power of technology tells a truth by which was hidden for years. We're not a threat to you. Our progress does not prevent yours. Our equal rights doesn't make yours unequal. We were never 3/5 of a man, of a woman, of a child, of a person, because we're Black. By any means necessary, wake up to that reality. And I'd like to leave us with a few of the quotes by which ring completely true today of Malcolm X, such as a man who doesn't stand up for something will fall for anything. So by what are you standing up for today? Just because you're at home and you think a thought doesn't serve the collective. You can't think it all the time. You must do something. It is action that moves the needle in forward progress. It's action that moves the needle in forward progress. To tell the truth about a thing is more powerful to me, in my view. This is an opinion. To tell the truth about a thing and hope to break barriers in a mindset of a thing is more powerful than a prayer between you and to whom you pray, unless you do something with it respectfully. A man who doesn't stand up for something will fall for anything, is one of his quotes. Another quote that I found to be worthy of this moment is, you can't separate peace from freedom, because no one can be at peace until he is free. And the future belongs to those who prepare it today. So there is no forward progress if you are not preparing it. Prepare is an action word. If you are not preparing it today, the collective needs your participation to rise. Making life better for you alone does not move the needle forward progress for the culture. It only moves the needle progress for you or your family. Now you say, oh, well, if my family's doing better and if I'm doing better and I'm of the culture, then the culture's doing better. No, it doesn't. That too is a trickery of the mindset. What is an opportunity for you or I should be, must be, has to be an opportunity for the collective to incur or have. This is the legacy of King. This is the legacy of Malcolm X. This is the legacy of Desmond Tutu. This is the legacy of Mother Teresa. This is the legacy of those by which the problematized life was sacrificed. They sacrificed their life for a problem that existed and in hopes that it go away. So they problematize their life. We should not be problematizing our lives today. There is just no reason by which power should not be addressed in order to liberate a people that's been oppressed, because progress is their fear. But progress is our advantage. And that is why when we think about the most famous quote, by any means necessary, it is just that. By any means necessary, move the needle forward. Bring, in my view, your white friends, because white people want it too. They are waking up to the reality that they've been bamboozled by their own kind. Now imagine that. They've been told a lie. They've been hidden the truth. They've been told how to think, how to act, how to respond, what to fear, how to be intimidated, just by the appearance of a Black person, and particularly a Black man. That needs to stop. We were never a threat. If we were, I'm going to do okay, thank you. I'm going to do a separate video on the fact that the worst crimes in this country were never committed by a Black person. They were all white. Now, ain't that a thing? If you've gotten this far, please click subscribe. The black and white of truth is the most liberating, because we never hated we never hated white people. We hated the ways of white people. They hated us because they were indoctrinated by the hate. But now that they realize it was all deposited in them by colonizer mindset, They're angry of their own kind. So now it is time to rise up, pilgrimage out, avoid problematized life by living the life by which King and Malcolm X and those who work diligently for peace have planned for us all along. And I love you. If you've gotten this far, click subscribe. There's no reason why you shouldn't if you've gotten this far. And I love you. Bring a friend with you next time. Click like. I'll see you next time. Good night. Happy birthday.